Hello, everyone. It's your host, SethTheProgrammer, and with me today I have my great beta male sidekick, Chuck the Cyber Cuck.
It's more like Alpha. You a little
And
bitch.
we are going to be talking
German
about.
iDubbbz, boy.
All right, we're going to be talking about Vegito Blue from the Trunks arc versus Goku Ultra Instinct from the Tournament of Power. Now, there won't be a time limit on their forms because it's like which one lasts longer. It's kind of subjective which one will last longer using cinematic timing. Although we're not going to be using Kaioken for Vegito simply because if he actually did use Kaioken, he'd probably defuse like instantly in like an actual fight. So it is a little bit weird to say, he'll use Kaioken if he's just going to defuse. So, but we will bring up what would happen if he uses Kaioken at the end, if it even changes anything. So, Chuck, why don't you go over real quick for those that didn't see the special with your bad opinion, what you think Ultra Instinct is?
Okay, so the Ultra Instinct form is supposedly like, Goku breaking through his limits and obtaining this self-movement that even gods of destruction, like, they haven't mastered yet. Basically moving, like, without even thinking about it. You just do it naturally, right?
Yes.
And Goku got an exponential boost from this and just pretty much shit on, like, any level of power that he had seen beforehand or, that he had obtained in Super Saiyan Blue. Essentially, like, this power was so great that just by appearing, he shook an infinite realm. So that's crazy already.
kind of a big deal. And then the narrator even said, all the gods are scared of it as well.
If you want to go into specifics, well, we need to actually go over the fact that Goku did not obtain this power from absorbing the power of the Spirit Bomb. People think that for some reason. He used the Spirit Bomb to power that form, but he didn't obtain the form from absorbing it, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
So get that headcanon out of there, because that doesn't work. Dude, I've seen people say that this makes Super Android 13 movie canon. so yeah, just stop with that headcanon there. Anyways, now Seth, you can go over Vegito.
All right, so Vegito has two different kind of ways to scale him. For one, you could scale him using the manga, in which he kind of just smacked Zamasu around. The same Zamasu that was struggling with Goku one-on-one. Or you could use the anime where Zamasu gets a giant purple FAP arm and is able to swap hands with Vegito after getting kicked in the mouth by Kaioken Goku. Now, Vegito, as we do know, does have statements about his power in both the Super Exciting Guide and in the Daizenshu. The Super Exciting Guide implies that Vegito is Goku and Vegeta, or Goku times Vegeta. That's why it's a little bit subjective and weird to use, because we don't know if it means and or times. Although it does have multipliers next to it, so it's probably saying multipliers, but that's just headcanon, really. Although it would explain his massive increase in power. And of course, in the Daizenshu, we do know that Vegito, in his base form, is stated stronger than a Super Saiyan 3. So not a Super Saiyan 3, stronger than a Super Saiyan 3. So that means that Vegito as a Super Saiyan Blue is basically the equivalent of Goku Kaioken times 400 Blue. Pretty big deal. It's kind of like, if not even way beyond that. So Vegito's kind of a powerhouse. And we do know that Goku with his Ultra Instinct state, a lot of people have this misconception that Ultra Instinct is Kaioken times 20 plus the Spirit Bomb, which is like another Kaioken times 20.
What?
Yeah. So for some reason, they think it's like an addition of the two. For one, Whis already debunks this. He's like, yeah, the power of the Spirit Bomb isn't enough to bring Goku to Jiren's level. It's something completely different. And I also wanted to add something else. When you absorb Ki in Dragon Ball, it's exponential. So, for example, Piccolo is given the Ki of, say, Krillin and Gohan, who are absolute fodder to even first form Frieza at that point, unless Gohan's enraged. And yet and Piccolo, second form Frieza level, probably weaker after getting smacked around, but still, is given this energy by these two fodder, and he is able to take punches from 50% Frieza at final form. Now, he wasn't able to fight him per se, but he was able to survive, right? So you can see there's a big increase. It's not just an additional increase of Ki. It exponentially amplified his body to be able to take punches like that. Even Frieza at 1% could have possibly killed him in one hit without that boost. So it's very clear that absorbing Ki gives you that boost. And of course, if Goku absorbed a Spirit Bomb, it would be an exponential increase. And we do know that the Spirit Bomb was beyond Kaioken times 20 regardless. I brought this up before in my other video, which I recommend watching, but Goku with Kaioken times 20 fights Frieza. Punches him in the mouth, shoots a Kaioken, and Frieza at the end of it's huffing like, oh my god, that was strong, right? Yet with Jiren, when he gets Kaioken times 20, he grabs him by the hair and says, quiero. Throws him out of the ring. So, like, like no difficulty. And yet Goku thought that this Spirit Bomb would work on Jiren, even though the Spirit Bomb versus Frieza that was stronger than Kaioken times 20 didn't work. So it's very clear that it's massively stronger than Kaioken times 20. So it would be more than 40 times. And on top of that, he gets an exponential increase of absorbing the Spirit Bomb. And then he breaks his limits on top of that to get an even bigger boost. So there's really no way to say exactly how strong this form is. The only thing we can really do is go with statements, because if you use power scaling or, the multipliers, etc., it's like headcanon. How exponential did the Spirit Bomb multiply his power? How much power did, breaking his limits give him? Is it enough to be over 400 times? How much stronger did Goku get in the Tournament of Power compared to Goku Black Arc when he was even Vegito to begin with? It's headcanon. That's pure headcanon. Well, I don't think it's enough to beat Vegito. That's an opinion, right? So you can't use that logic to prove one beats the other. However, Chuck, why don't you give them an example of what would prove one beats the other?
So essentially, you can analyze like statements, and you can also analyze feats. So, for example, Goku has a superior feat that he, shook the Infinite Realm, the World of Void, and Vegito, all he really did was destroy buildings. Even though logically,
he's not building level.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you want to go by feats, then yes. But like Vegito was basically bullying Zamasu. Just like, the same Zamasu composed of two beings. One of them is already stronger than Kaioken times 10 Goku, as confirmed by one of the anime directors. Goku Black was already shitting on everyone. Like, his Rose, he just gave him the exponential boost of Batara, and, even then, he's deformed, he has this, purple fat arm, as you said, and Vegeta was still bullying him like nothing, right? And he was still toying with him at the start of the fight, too. Oh, like, it seems that I can damage a god, huh? It seems you're not immoral anymore. He's just talking shit the whole time. Also, another thing I wanted to speak about the exponential thing is that I actually discussed this in my Spirit Bomb video. When we see Raditz fight against Goku and Piccolo and, Goku, they don't even have power levels near 1,000, yet their charged key attacks are beyond 1,000. They're like 1,300 mark, right? This is enough to Raditz. So it'll become much stronger than the user. So you can also use this logic for the Spirit Bomb. And of course, we know the Spirit Bomb was far stronger than the 20 times Kaioken Kamehameha on Goku that he used on Frieza. And I mean, it's clearly powered by people that are, universal, like Android 17 and, Frieza, stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, we do know that the Spirit Bombs do not add up linearly. Like, people are like, why is Frieza plus 17 plus some fodder Earthlings enough to even push Jiren to even use more power? And it's because Genki is not key, for one, and Genki adds up exponentially. A good example of this is the Spirit Bomb not being enough to beat Buu, yet with the help of humans on Earth, literally not even wall level, with Kid Buu being the guy that can erase galaxies, these not even wall levels creatures can add up their Genki to be enough to push Buu. So you get the idea. It's exponential. And we get this also with Trunks absorbing the Genki of like 30 people and coming in and sweeping up Zamasu. Now, I know Zamasu was starting to get fatigued, but he was also growing in power at the same time. Like, for example, his size was increasing, yet his speed wasn't per se. So his power was increasing, but his speed wasn't. That's why Vegito started finessing him at the end. And he still has Goku Black's, genes. He's not immortal, so he obviously still grows stronger like Goku Black would. And here comes, like, Trunks absorbing the power of base Goku, who's, like, can't even move, and base Vegeta, who also can't even move, along with 30 humans. And this is enough for him to stab and obliterate Fusion Zamasu. Yet Jiren versus Goku with Kaioken times 20 Super Saiyan Blue, which is stronger than Rage, don't at me. And with Frieza, who is healthy base Goku level, give or take. Android 17, who's like blue level, and then Gohan, and then Piccolo, and then, all the Z fighters and all that in the team. Jiren blinks that away. We do know that the Supreme Kai also said that this is different from any power we've ever felt before. And Whis also backs this up. He doesn't disagree with him. He agrees, this is like a god of destruction, if not more. And we do know that Whis and Beerus have sensed infinite astral Zamasu, who was basically as big as an entire infinite universe, at least using the Daisenshu, and expanding to other timelines. And Whis is like, yeah, but this guy's scary. So, and I remember Beerus, even at the end of the Zamasu fight, like, yeah, we could have probably beat him. We probably would have just sealed him away. So, but with Jiren, they're like, holy hell, is this one guy? So
just at the start of it too.
not even when he starts using his real power, just by like walking. And then he uses even more power after like the Spirit Bomb. So you get the idea that Jiren is way beyond Zamasu. And Zamasu and Vegito are kind of, swapping hands a little bit. So if suppress Jiren just by blinking, not even using his aura, me and Chuck actually think he was suppressed versus Goku Ultra Instinct as well.
It clearly was.
Yeah, he clearly was. This is why Mastered Ultra Instinct is going to be a thing later. But anyway, you get the idea that Jiren is just on a completely different level. And of course, the Supreme Kai also notes this. And if you use the manga, now I know the manga and anime aren't the same thing, right? But it's drawn and written by Toyotaro. And Toyotaro is the right-hand man of Toriyama, right? Toriyama even reads the manga and gives him advice. In this manga, the Supreme Kai does say, Vegito's power with the final Kamehameha is possibly greater than Beerus. Possibly. And then Toyotaro, even when interviewed about it, is like, who knows how much the Supreme Kai's word even means? He could be wrong. Jiren is just like, yeah, he's stronger than everyone there. But with the Vegito, it's like, maybe. So it's a little bit more objective to say that Ultra Instinct Goku would be on top. And even if they were like more like rivals, or maybe Vegito's a little bit stronger, Ultra Instinct is way more hacksy. He gets way more powerful as he fights. He has ultra dodge hacks. He can never be caught off guard. It's very illogical, in my opinion, to say that Vegito wins, at least from Future Trunks arc. If it was Tournament of Power Vegito, yeah, that might be something else. Once again, you just have to use headcanon with like the power scaling. Like, is Kaioken times 400 Tournament of Power Goku enough to beat Jiren? You don't really know.
So, kill him.
You really don't know. You can only assume. And that's the whole premise of using like power scaling multipliers in this debate. You just don't know. You really don't. I mean, if Future Trunks having energy from 30 people in like this fodder Spirit Bomb that shouldn't even been Super Spirit Bomb level from Z level, then why would Goku with the Spirit Bomb still be so weak in comparison? If a Spirit Bomb was enough to give Trunks like a Patara level increase, why wouldn't this godly Universe 7 Spirit Bomb with all the Universe 7 fighters, including Frieza and 17, be enough to be a Patara earring, increase? On top of that, Whis is like, no, it's way more than just that, so it's really hard to just use, your headcanon and power scaling. It's more acceptable and objective to use lore. And the lore of the situation simply is Jiren and Goku are beyond God of Destruction level, and Vegito is comparable to Beerus. That's the lore. That's basically what's being implied, right? That's how it's being written on the table. Chuck, I think you have an extra argument for this as well.
So another argument for this is that you can use a Kaioken. For example, Goku had to use Kaioken times 20 against Jiren, and it hit him, but Jiren was like, what the fuck is this? Like he didn't even react to it. He was bullying Goku the entire time. He didn't give a shit about any of his punches. He even blitzed him just casually by looking at him. And Jiren was suppressed during this time. He's actually been suppressed. He's been suppressed the whole time, basically. I believe one of the Kais from the other universes said that he can still feel greater power coming from him. And also, on top of that, when Zamasu was suppressed against Goku, Goku was able to hurt him with Kaioken times 10. He was able to kick him and take away his Ring of Light. So the fact that Zamasu, while suppressed, was pretty much caught off guard and damaged by a weaker Goku and with the weaker Kaioken multiplier, and then Jiren was going up against a much stronger Goku with a much higher multiplier, and he still didn't give a shit. That should tell you that the power gap between Jiren and Zamasu is ridiculous.
Also, I thought this was pretty interesting as well, is that Jiren blitzed Goku in an instant, like hitting him possibly thousands of times, like in an instant. And nobody could, base Vegeta couldn't see it. Nobody could see it except for 17 and probably the angels and gods in the audience. Yet versus Fusion Zamasu and Vegito, there were still comments on the fight, especially from Trunks. Trunks being weaker than Tournament of Power Vegeta, at least in base form. So it is very likely, also by that logic, that Jiren, even heavily suppressed, let alone when he amped himself versus the Spirit Bomb and then versus Ultra Instinct, that Vegito would win. And I think that's all we really need to say about it. As you guys get the idea, saying Vegito wins is far more of subjective than it is to say Goku wins. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to say Kaioken times 20 Vegito would shit on Ultra Instinct. I'm not going to disagree with you. We don't know. There's no way to prove yes or like yay or nay. Although objectively, it's more valid to say Ultra Instinct wins, even with hacks in mind, because he can grow stronger, he has better feats, and he has instant dodge, abilities, whereas Vegito does not. Anyway, so that's the video. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe to Chuck the Cyber Fox channel. And till next time.
Peace out, thotties.